So this is incredibly powerful combo, probably the most powerful combo in the whole game. So today we will be talking about talents, more specific combat talents, more specific what talents to pick to become the most overpowered wizard in Hogwarts. So we'll focus on these three, and as you can see I'm level 40, that's the max level. I haven't used all the talent points because, to be honest, it's not necessary. These, stealth and room of requirements, they're pretty much useless in combat. So we will focus on these, the ones that does the most damage and help in combat every way possible. So we'll start with the most fun one, Dark Arts, most fun and most useful. These are the ones that you use if you decide to choose and use all the dark magic spells in the game, which are Avada Kedavra, Crucio, and Imperio. So you need to be a certain level to learn the spells, to learn the talents, and these are the first ones at level 5 that you can learn. Is a Blood Curse, that's number 1. It deals damage to cursed targets and then all other cursed targets as well. So as you see, these green X marks a cursed target. So when you hit one, you also hit the others. This is very, very useful and one of the first talents that you should get. Then we have Stunning Curse. When you stupefy, it has the same effect as Cursed. And I will explain you why cursing enemies is so important, because it all comes to this. You need to learn as many talents as you can to curse your enemies, so you could effectively use this and have like the most overpowered combo in the game. So now, this is Disarming Curse. If you use Expelliarmus, you will curse your enemy, and you should probably use Expelliarmus, it's a pretty good spell. Then Enduring Curse. Curses last longer, and this is very important because you want to curse as many targets simultaneously as you can. Here we have Imperial Mastery. When you use Imperio, it curses your enemy. The same goes with Crucio. When you use Crucio, you curse your enemy. This is very good talent. When you beat an enemy that is cursed, it restores some of your health. This is very helpful. When you fight multiple enemies or you have like a boss fight, this is a very good talent to learn. But all this comes to this, Avada Kedavra Mastery. When you use Avada Kedavra, you kill your enemy. But if there are enemies that are cursed around that enemy, they get killed too. So let's say you fight 4 enemies. Okay? So you use Expelliarmus on one of the enemies and it curses the target. Then you use Imperio on the other enemy, it curses the target. You use Crucio on another enemy and it curses the target. And then finally you hit Avada Kedavra, the 4th enemy, and kills all 4 enemies because all 4 enemies were cursed. So this is incredibly powerful combo, probably the most powerful combo in the whole game. And this is why you should learn the dark spells, the dark arts, because they are incredibly effective in combat. Now let's go to core talents. These are the most important. Dark arts and core talents are the most important. So firstly, you should get this spell knowledge. It expands. Because usually when you start a game, you have 4 slots for your spells that you can use in combat. You need to get these to expand to get more slots. So you have level 1, level 2, and level 3. And then when you get this one, you'll have 4 spell sets that you can swap mid-combat. So 4 times 4, you have 16 spells that you can use in combat. Here we have Swift. It does this thing, it helps you to move faster, and it looks really cool. So you'll have some excessive spell points, excessive talent points. So you should probably get this one as well. Here we have Ancient Magic Throw Expertise. Ancient magic throw catches and throws disarmed enemy weapons. Uh, this is useful. This is actually pretty useful, and you can learn it early at level 5. Then we have Protego Absorption. This, when you use Protego, it helps to increase your Ancient Magic meter. And Ancient Magic meter is very important in combat, especially in boss fights, because it can do a substantial amount of damage, especially before you learn Avada Kedavra. So you want to get this. Then you have Basic Cast Mastery, which is probably the very first talent that you want to acquire, because it reduces spell cooldowns. And you can basically just spam spells. Well, not all of them. Avada Kedavra takes forever to recharge, even with this. But other spells, they're pretty fast to recharge. So you want to get this. Then, as I said, you have Spell Knowledge that you should get. Here you have Big and Wheel Potency talent. It increases the potency of healing potions. I skipped this one, and I immediately got this one. So I don't think you need them both, because personally I don't get hit very often. I don't take much damage, so I don't really need them. But it still helps. It makes a noticeable difference in the amount of health restored by these potions. Here we have Stupefy Mastery, and it's one of those talents that you might not notice while playing, but it's gonna be very helpful. When you use Stupefy, it will stun your enemy, and this will extend the time the enemy is stunned. Here you have Evasion Absorption, which helps to increase your Ancient Magic meter, just like this talent. And there are multiple talents that do so, including this one. This one also increases Ancient Magic meter, so you should get this one too. Here you have Revelio. It's not very useful in combat, but it still counts as core spell, so it's in here. It helps when you want to explore the areas, look for treasures, chests, and all the other stuff. Here we have Protego Expertise. When you use Protego, you hit your enemies with 2 projectiles. It looks cool and it's helpful. These top tier talents here are not as good as Dark Arts talents. Stupefy deals direct damage on impact. I mean, this one is good. This one is good. And then we have Protego Mastery. Perfect Protego releases a damaging blast that breaks enemy shields. This is not that useful because enemies that has shields typically stay out of range. They don't come close to you. So it's not gonna be that useful. I mean, you should get it, but it's not as important as Dark Arts top tier talents. Then here we have spells. So these depends on what spells are you planning to use in combat. You should pick those. So I learned Levioso. I don't really use it in combat, but this one is good because when you cast Levioso, it levitates all targets near the enemy that you use Levioso on. So it can be pretty useful. This one is Confringo. I use Confringo a lot. And this talent improves Confringo. Confringo impacts produce Fury Bolts that seek enemy targets. So this is really good and really useful. Confringo, Bombarda, and Avada Kedavra are the main spells that I use. So here at level 16 you have Bombarda Mastery, and it causes an explosive blast with a massive area of effect. This is very useful when you fight multiple targets. So Bombarda Mastery and Confringo Mastery are really good. Here you have Glacius Mastery. Striking an enemy frozen by Glacius blast, damaging shards outwards from the target. Glacius does not do direct damage, but if you use Glacius on an enemy and then follow up with, let's say, Bombarda, it will do more damage. It will slow the enemy and then do more damage with the following spell. So it's pretty useful. It does not do direct damage, but still pretty useful spell. And finally, at level 22, have Transformation Mastery. As you can see in the demonstration here, you can turn enemy into explosive barrel, launch it into another enemy and kill them both. So this is pretty cool, but you don't get this. This is one of the last spells that you get. You don't get this one early. And then we have these two that are, I just don't use. Stealth, I don't use stealth. I've not learned any of these because I just prefer blast enemies, Confringo, Bombard, and Avada Kedavra. Much faster, much more fun. And here I've tested a few things. I've tested Tentaculous and I've tested Focus Potions, but these are not necessary. I would primarily focus on, I would get, the first spells that I would get would be this Confringo Mastery. When you reach level 15, I would get Bombarda Mastery. Then Dark Arts, I would get this to curse all the enemies. Then Crucio and Imperio. And then I will learn to heal from cursed enemies and hit them with Avada Kedavra, and then just kill all cursed enemies. These are incredibly important. And one of the first spells that I would get these to expand the inventory, because I use 2 rows. I use 8 spells in combat, so at least you need to get one of these. And the one that reduces, yeah, it's here. The one that reduces spell cooldowns, one of the first to get. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video.